to reflect. The title alone, it reflects a common mindset we have, teachers have, and it's understandable. As a Tongan and as a teacher, you have too many fatongias and you probably won't have the time to reflect. I'd like to talk, to give you a little background about Tailulu, to help you understand why we needed this. Tailulu's, we take pride in our purpose to provide education for anyone who's willing to learn. So we take in anyone who wants to learn, and with the hope that to add value to their learning. And because of that, our student population has spiked compared to the past, to our population in the past 20 years, given by this table. So with an overpopulated classroom, the role of the Tailulu Faiako became much more complex. And so, adding to that, the introducing of the solo in 2015, and it was a compilation of all the issues, and we had to do something about it to help our teachers. Our syllabus gives us all the knowings and the doings that we need to include in the classroom. It gives us no statements and do statements, but we realize that seeing is also important in the process, but it is often ignored and sometimes not given enough attention. And so doing classroom practice, the wisdom of knowing and doing can be explored if we do the siofi or the seeing. So that's why this initiative was put in place. It was an opportunity for us to practice as siofi, observing and looking at all the problems and looking at all the issues in the classroom. And so this initiative was put into place with a purpose to enable teachers to reflect on their teaching and learning practices in the classroom. So what happened was we would they trialed this on a group of teachers that included myself and Hangē here, and so we were given journal books to record entries. We were to record 2 entries, and then once a week we would meet and then share one of those entries with the hope that it could inform us on how to improve on our practice. So we were given questions, these guide questions, to help us in our reflection. And questions 1 and 2 ask for best moments and challenging moments. And I hope that when we notice those things, when we realize them, we know what works and what doesn't work in the classroom. And the third one asks for students' reaction in the hope that we can find ways to improve and our relationship with our students. And the last one, asking how did I support my colleague today, really was just a way of encouraging our teachers to work together and collaborate. So because they had to share something about it in our meetings. So the idea of reflection is not new. We as Tongans, we love to Talanoa. We finish a class, we come in Talanoa, but we do it so often, but not so often. We don't record those Talanoas to help inform us of learning that, so we can keep having moments like that. If we find good strategies, it'll be useful for the next teachers, to have those recorded and then shared when we have new teachers coming in. And of course, so we can keep practicing the ones that work and find ways to work on the ones that didn't. So this was supported. Clark here says that teacher learning is strengthened through the reflection of purpose, and Dr. Ana Faupula supports this in her writing to back to look forward. She shares her reflection on education. So we're really just trying to value reflective practices. And I'm happy to report on some of the successes of this initiative that we're very proud of. When I presented on this last year, Hangē was still in Fiji, and lo and behold is here joining us today. I think with Hangē, one of the impacts of this initiative, as he shared, because part of what we share in our reflection, we talk about strategies and ways, and we discuss contents too, and it really helped him a lot in developing his self-confidence. And he made it to Fiji. For us, it's a success. To have the drive, the need, and wanting to grow in this profession. And I think we were able to establish that. And Hangē is still continuing to share and strategies and content regarding his the subject that he's teaching. Another success that we've also found is its ability to enhance our relationship as teachers. I think it's a Tongan thing, to not wanting to look silly, not wanting to sound like to feel inadequate. But we created a space in this group for everyone, a safe space for everyone to just share openly without the fear of being judged and oh, you should have known this. You've been a teacher for how many years? And so we have that space, and it helped us to grow and our relationship with our students. Elizabeth here. We were able to tell that this worked for her based on last year's in her students' performance. She's an English teacher, and we were happy with her success that she was able to teach the class. 97% of her class passed the external exams. If you know my background, if you know Tailulu, that's a big success for us. And so if she can do that, then something, it must be working. So it's very encouraging for the rest of the teachers. She also won a scholarship last year with USP. And she's hoping, and she's still continuing to build relationship wherever she is. And the last one, this is for Nogafi now. He is our deputy principal. Something that we believe is also helping us with this practice is that it enables us to think about the way we think. When we do that a lot, then becoming critical is easier. We need to become critical thinkers. It was really helpful for him as he's in the administration and to reflect. I think I said it before, it helps him become more critical, become a reflective and critical thinker, which is important as it administrates challenges. Yes, it did have challenges. Besides all the good things that I've talked about, this is the enemy of this initiative, time, which is why the question was asked as the title of the presentation, who has time to reflect. Teacher motivation. The solution for this, it all comes down to the individual, really, to one's willingness. The teacher that cares, the teacher that really wants, the student to improve, the teacher that really knows her purpose as a Faiako, to be a Faiako, will make time regardless of all, of all her many fatongias and all that is happening within her circle. What I'm trying to say is at Tailulu, we make time. We're so lucky we have our administration's support. So it's also gives us time. They allow us time to have to do the reflection, and And this is the summary of all the findings as a result of this practice in Tailulu. This reflective journal works for Tailulu. It can work regardless whether it's a school or not. You just evidence is reflected through both student and teacher growth. As mentioned before, the issue is time and motivation. I just want to finish with John Dewey saying, we do not learn from experience, but we learn from reflecting on experience. And that is a siofi and a loto. We need to value those in order to inform us on how to do and what to know. Koyabe, malo. Just the piling up of all the issues, we tried different ways and reflection seemed to work for us. So really, Dave trialed the idea and we did see its impact, and so that's what continued because we believe everyone has something to put, to put into the table, and that was our chance of getting what they know and like helping us grow together through reflection. I guess it applies to siofi and siosiofi. It's just an emphasis and in depth, just the difference in how you may see and observe things on a surface level, but if you siosiofi again, you might miss, pick up on something that was missed, and you also could. I think it's the same case with Talanoa, because you Talanoa with a purpose. For us, we were Talanoa trying to find ways to improve our practice in the classroom, and we had to Talanoa to know what the challenges and it was perceived that we all share the same challenges in the classroom, so it pushed us to find a way forward. So I guess the difference is, Chris, sorry, it's just the in-depth of how, and the emphasis, where you put the emphasis, what's important. Do you keep Talanoa until you come to a solution or a way? This is something that would have come in my next presentation. But yes, you're raising a very good. I mean, it's true. I do go through these challenges, and you're asking how I go about and avoiding all the negatives within the sharing group. I guess it starts with me. With a session, I start the sharing, and I'm not afraid to show them, my weaknesses, to tell them, okay, I'm an HOD, but I still need learning here, I still need help here. So every time there's like, someone comes up with a challenge or an issue, I must always make sure to, okay, now that we identified what's our way forward, we do not want to stay here, we want to move from here. It was with a simple answer of the question, how do we fix this? What's our way around this? We don't want to keep complaining about this again. But you talk about the concept of humility, and I've also learned through observing, through a siosiofi of my leaders at school, my superiors there. I see what they do, and they lead with humility, and I guess I don't force it on them that you need to stop complaining, you need to stop this. We try to come to an understanding where it's beneficial for all of us. We acknowledge the problem, but we try and talk more about the solution.
I want to add up on what Ana said. There's Tongan say siofi. Siofi is a negative criticism. That's all the negativity. In Tonga, when they do those kind of things, the siofi, they are definitely pull you inside out. So we use that concept, the negativity, we change it to positivity. That we can analyze it in a negative way, but in a positive idea. And then we design some, like she said, we design strategies or methods, and we are trying to make it worthwhile. Throw the negativity, but at the same time, what is the positive feedback we might, as a group, might have an effect on the rest of the school.
Challenges. With every session, I give them like a structure. Like at the beginning, we give them these questions, and then we decide on which focus to reflect on for our next meeting. And for each session, we do have to share, and then we do have to identify the problems and a solution for these things, and how would this apply in the classroom. So basically. So just within the sharing, we identify the issue. If there's an issue, we come up with a solution for it, and what would that solution look like in the classroom. I think it's working at Tailulu because we are in smaller groups. We are just in our department. So me with my English teachers, we share the same English. We are all talking about English. Like as of this year, the maths department and the science department are also doing the same thing. So I guess they'll speak up when the groups are smaller. I guess it happens everywhere, even with the whole staff PLD. There are only certain people do the talking. You'll just sit in there, and I guess that was also our challenge at Tailulu, and we decided to break it up into departments. And they share, talk more there. I worked with many, but can I share on Carrie Lee, please? Because she stood out to me. I had a lot more time with her. I think you may remember she stayed for another year. I think this is what working with Carrie Lee looked like. We sat down, we planned, the lesson. We structured the lesson. We know who was going to say this and deliver this. Yeah. So I guess from an associate, looking at a volunteer, Carrie Lee knew her purpose. And from our end, I guess that was clear for her. Like we gave her like a set and a plan of what we expect of her, and she had things to do. And for me, that was my first experience of co-teaching with the Balani. I think working together is easy because our interests were the same. We both were working towards making the kids, better, and it reflected in our lesson plans, in our collaboration together. So it was respectful. She respected me as a Tongan teacher. I respected her as a Palani who's willing to help Tongans. And yeah, it doesn't really go far from all the core values. It's not easy to establish a fefalala'aki relationship, but like you said, it's you siofi someone and then you tend to falala based on their actions and what they do. I guess for us in Tailulu, I falala how you because I see your work ethic and how you care so much and truly genuinely care for the students. We fefalala'aki enough not to not to siota'aki to the members who are reflecting, not to go around saying that, to change those challenges into positives. I guess in this initiative, I think fefalala'aki is needed for between the teachers, the relationship between the teachers, and just how we do our work as teachers. Like I lead, if I want my teachers to practice, to practice this way, I lead. So if I require anything of them, I lead. I do it first, and then maybe they'll tend to trust me in the sense that okay, she's not just forcing this on us. She's also doing it. She's walking the talk, and yeah, I guess it's clear that the Faiako who truly cares will be able to establish a trusting relationship with whoever, so they work, the trust between the teacher and student relationship, which is also important. And you get this by just being consistent in your teaching and you're showing up. And I think it's important that in order for the relationship to work, both teacher and volunteer need to be present, like mentally and physically, and all that is happening in the school. So you can be there, but you're thinking of home or other things or the next episode. But you need, I think that the issue of trust can be strengthened if one is truly present mentally. With all the school programs, even if they're teaching, they are really there. It's as simple, like most teachers would believe, fatongia is to show kids how to pronounce words correctly, but really, is to make them understand, to make sure the kids understand what they're reading. So I think one just needs to be present. Faiako. Which one do you wish to share? And if we find that there are commonalities, we will focus on that, and especially that on the next session. So we pick a different focus, so we don't keep complaining. Let's focus on looking at the small ones. When this work started with Dr. Dave Hawai, part of the initiative was, as a result of the reflection, we came up with, we selected teachers we call the kids, we even selected kids, because we got kids who still can't read or mix up the alphabets and all. So I'm happy to report that those kids back in 2015 are still in school now, because we call them a special group, and we have special teachers looking at, just being there for them, helping them, because we just want them to leave school knowing that they know more than they did yesterday. So I'm happy to report that they're still in school now. Some of them are in Ahopaniolo, and like they didn't make it in the exam rooms and with the academics, but we kept them at school. They still wanted to come to school. They found what they're good at, and I guess it's a result and a testimony of of the work that we're doing, reflecting, that gave us that idea, and that's I guess that's how we worked. We selected a group of teachers who we think can handle these kids, and then they take them all the way, and that's what that's what it's like. And that just encourages us just to in school, and they made them. So yeah. So the experience is so rewarding. It's so rewarding for us. So to be working in Tailulu and then seeing that.
Have you?
Just being HOD, I finally got the chance to go into the classroom and see whether these are being used, and just so funny. Because after appraisal, we get to come and reflect again, and then I point out what's working and what's not, and so it's an ongoing process. I see some of them, being practiced, some being forgotten, and so we do this weekly to remind our teachers. But the short answer to that is yes. For most of us, we still need, we've still got more learning to do. For quite the end. We, as parents, we judge based on our students' performance, regardless. If the schools are doing great, then okay, these teachers are great. They're respected. Yeah? If we get the same results, from Tailulu, then they're probably not as good as teachers from other schools, and so because our students talk, I guess they understand, but of course it has to do with social, because a teacher has too many dimensions, too many layers. Status may play a part, gender may play a part. So, but you are right. I believe that has changed compared to the last year, to the past years, and I guess parents get this from their students, from their children. Their opinion on who the teacher is and how the teacher is would have an impact on how we view teachers. Absolutely, and that's what we're trying to do with this initiative. We're trying to change that mindset, even for parents, even for teachers, to value themselves as teachers, because it will then, reflect in the work they do, and of course, spread into changing parents' mindset also. Hopefully. I know that's what I want to come off as a teacher. The teacher that cares, that truly cares. Because then, I think our students are old enough to know who's being a teacher and who's not, who's really doing their job and who's not, who really cares, because they may forget what I said, but they'll never forget how a teacher makes them feel, So hopefully, yes, I'm trying this one. I think it's one of my philosophies as a teacher, They'll never forget how I made them feel, and that's how I want to come off as a caring teacher, because by then, hoping to have the same, have that impact on our students and changing their mindset.
fefalala'aki.